everyone, welcome back to my channel, Bubbie Bean. If you're new here, my name is Shayla. I'm so glad you are joining me today. I am making a series here. This is the first part where I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this. It's kind of like a grocery / shopping list folio for a Christmas planner, which I plan on doing a Christmas planner with you guys on camera, but this is kind of the first part that I do because I tuck this into the journal that I make. So I like to make this just so that way I can take it with me and I don't have to take my whole journal with me. You know, it doesn't really add too much bulk, but it's a nice way to have things that maybe I need to get from the store or, you know, shopping lists for presents for people. It's a nice way to keep track of it. That's completely independent of my journal. So really it's just for the convenience, so I can throw this in my purse and take it with me. So I really like to make these along with my journal. So I'm going to go ahead and flip through here, and then we're going to go ahead and jump in because this does take a second. This, I put a little paper clip on it just to keep it closed. More often than not, usually when I'm actually using this, I'll just not have this, but I just wanted to have it for now. But you could always use that as well, or like a bulldog clip or something like that. But the front cover, it's actually made out of a lovely file folder. And then the paper right here is actually wrapping paper. So I in my last haul video, I grabbed some really cute holiday themed wrapping papers. So I just thought that I would use that as the cover for this one. And then I just added some little embellishments. I kind of gave it a little bit of dimension by layering on top. So I have some cardstock and the green cardstock, and then I layered some embellishments on top just for some interest. And then when you open it up, it's just basically just a folio. So this is the product, you know, that I came up with. So I have a pocket right here, and I just put a little tag just to kind of showcase that little pocket, which is super cute. It's actually a gift tag. So if you see any holiday gift tags, make sure you pick them up because you can use them for things like this. And these are good for just embellishing. Like I could have put it on the front as well. So I just put that in there. You could always put like a little word here or something. I kind of just kept it plain because there's a lot going on. But then, so we have the pocket, which is good for storing, you know, like if you have extra notes or things like that, you can store them in here. Even receipts, but I do have a receipt pocket in the back. But I have this little, I guess, little stack. It's a small stack of sticky notes. They're just kind of some holiday themed ones. I think I found these at the Target dollar spot one year. So usually if I see things like this, I'll grab it because I usually put them in my journal. So that's nice too, in case I just need to write a quick note and stick it somewhere. And then, so I'll flip to the back and then I'll show you the middle part. But this is just another pocket. It's just a little side tuck right here. And I just did some simple embellishments. These were just some die cut embellishments that I had found somewhere probably, you know, a few years ago or so. But they're kind of vintage looking, so I really liked them. And of course, you know, I love sparkle. I love shiny, so I have a lot of sparkle there. But I usually use the back pocket for receipts, so I'll put it here. But sometimes that gets a little chunky, so that's why I have a pocket in front too. Okay, so then moving on, I made just a really simple one signature kind of sewn in, you know, just like you would do in a junk journal. But this is just for the shopping list. So I just put, you know, just something kind of simple on the front for some interest. And then you could always write stuff here. You could stamp here as well, but I chose to stamp the bottom corners. So I'll kind of flip through a little bit so you can see. It's just lined paper that I folded in half, nothing super fancy. But I had some snowflake stamps. So I just kind of took the snowflake stamps, different ones, and I stamped them in different colors just so that way there's, you know, a little extra something. I really like that one, Snowflakes Have Fallen. So yeah, I just went through and I just stamped that one's cute too. I kind of messed up there, but that's okay. It's not perfect, you know. That's okay though. But I just kind of went through and I alternated the stamps just for some, like I said, extra interest there, you know, so it's not just lined paper, but you definitely don't have to do that. You could even stamp on the top like a cute word or something. We might do that in the next one. But that's about it. So it's pretty simple. Like I said, it's not too big or chunky. So that way, because it probably will get a little chunky over time with the receipts and things that you put in here. So I try and keep it kind of flat, but this is just something to kind of tuck into your journal. So that way when you're out and about, you can just pull this out of your journal and then put it in your purse and you're ready to go. So with no further ado, let's get started. Okay. So first things first, we have to cut our folder here. And our folder, I am not too sure how big this is. I usually just kind of cut it and wing it, but for all of the measurers out there, let's see. So it looks like it's about 9 inches there long. And then the width is about, oh, okay. It's that little tiny mark right there. It's a little over 4, or I guess 4 3/4, 4.75. You could just do that. I'm going to go ahead and cut this. So I think what I did, if you can see, there's these little perforated lines already. So I just cut down this little perforated line. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And bring out my paper trimmer. You could definitely use a craft knife or a utility knife if you'd like to. Just for the sake of time, I'm just going to kind of be a little fast here because when it comes to the embellishing part, I'm very much so picky about how I want to do it. So I know that's going to take some time. So, okay, so now we have that. It is still a little big for me. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out my ruler here that's attached. And this is the Fiskars paper trimmer. They have a smaller one, but this is the one that trims 12 by 12 paper, if that helps, if you're looking to purchase one of these. So let me just use, because I like this size for reference here. Okay, so maybe we'll do like 4.5. Let's just do 4.5. We'll make it nice and even. So I'm gonna just cut that and be careful. If you're using paper trim, always hold your paper because I have had it slip. So now we have that. It's a nice, this one might be a little bit skinnier, but that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. And then let's see. Let's go ahead and cut it down. And we said this one was, okay, we said it was about 9. So let's go ahead and do 9. Okay. And you can make these smaller if you want. You definitely don't have to go this big. Just whatever's going to end up fitting in your journal. So, okay, so we cut that. And now we have just a nice little folio here. So I decorated the cover first. So let's see what we can do for the cover. I'm thinking let's go a little more maybe traditional this time around, because I use some kind of more fun type, I guess, papers. I mean, they're all fun, but I was seeing if I could do some sort of, that one might be nice. Okay, let's do that. All right, and I really just kind of go with what my heart feels. There's no, you know, until I think it looks good. So this is just some wrapping paper. Oh, it looks like it's the World Wildlife Fund, which is kind of cool. I definitely got this, you know, secondhand, thrifted. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this paper down so that way it's easier to work with. So let's see here. Okay, and I'm just cutting it at this little line right here. Set that aside. I'm going to try and not be super messy with this, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, so we have this piece, so I'll probably just end up using this. And all I do, I don't really measure. I know that's probably going to drive some of you crazy, but I just kind of eyeball it. Like I know I want a little bit of border. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pencil. I don't know if y'all can see that. Okay, I'm just going to take my pencil and I'm just going to mark where I think would be a good place to cut at. So we'll do that right there, and then let's do like right here. Okay, so we'll cut this way first, just so that way, let's see, I have to find where I'm, okay. I always do it in pencil, which is fine, but then I have to figure out where it's at because I can't ever see it. Okay, so we'll cut that. I'll get rid of this. So we just cut it long ways, and now I'm going to cut it for the proper, I guess, width. There we go. Okay. And save your scraps, especially little ones like this. You can always use stuff like this in a cluster or something, so definitely don't get rid of that. There's no reason to throw out a perfectly good piece of paper. So there we go. So now we have that looking pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue this on. And before I do that, I should probably have my craft mat because I already know at one point this desk is going to get dirty, and that's going to be a sad day. So, okay, let's see. And I just used, for the gluing this down, it's so lightweight that I just used this Scotch permanent glue stick, which has been treating me really well. I actually really like it, so it definitely does stick. So you do have to be slightly careful. Okay, and all I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to glue down. So I didn't put glue at the bottom here because in the event I need to adjust it, it'll be a little bit easier. So we're just going to stick it down and hope for the best here. And I can already see this isn't right. So let's try that again. Okay. I do know if I do that, maybe, ooh, no, okay. Let's go slow. Go slow, Shayla. Okay. Top part looks pretty straight. So now you have to be careful because you can get bubbles and then it'll crinkle your paper, especially if it is wrapping paper like this is. So I'm just trying to make sure I can get it about as straight as it'll go. Okay, that doesn't look too bad, I don't think. It's not incredibly perfect, but I'm okay with it. Okay, I have some extra glue. And so typically I have like a little scrap page or something for glue. Here we go. I have these little cutouts here. So sometimes I'll just like use a scrap piece of paper, which is fine. I'll usually use like a printer paper or something like that. You know, not anything that's like super detailed or special. Something I really want to save. Okay, so now we have that glued down. I'm going to make sure I glued the edges really well because this guy will get tossed around a little bit. So I glued down the edges. Zoom me out a little bit. So now we have our background piece. So let's go ahead and we're going to pick out a kind of matte piece, like if you can see that, or I guess not matte, just one single color. So I have this. It's the Christmas cardstock matte stack. Say that 5 times fast. I am going to pick something out here. And I could do like just kind of like a more neutral. That might be nice. Or like a light green. And I think I just got this at like a thrift store. I kind of want a little bit of contrast though. So let's see. I love the green. There's yellow. It's a little too bright. Let me see. And here it is. This is where it all falls apart, you guys. I'm going to take forever. Okay, let's do this one just for, we're just going to go for it. So, there we go. And so all I'm going to do is I'm just going to, before I glue this down, I kind of want to figure out what I'm going to put on the front. So usually I like to put a little like sentiment, like, you know, Merry Christmas, or I celebrate Christmas, so I do that. You know, and then I'll put like a cute little image. So some sort of wording and then like an image. So I have some things that actually may work out pretty well. So this is just a die cut. This is part of the same die cuts that I've actually been using. I gotten like a whole bushel of them at one point. Okay, don't tear on me. There we go. So we could maybe use this. I think that would be nice because it would be the bird, you know, bird and bird. So we'll do that. And so all I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this down first so I know, you know, where I need to cut. So let's go ahead and glue this guy. And since this paper is a little, I don't know if you can see the tooth on that. It's kind of almost like that canvasy linen feel. So I'm going to actually use my Fabrifix, which I just know has, you know, a little bit of a stronger grip. And of course, it still has the remnants. Okay. So let's just go around the world here. And all I'm doing is I'm just gluing this. And I'm not getting it too close to the edge because I know when I smush it down, it'll spread around and do its job. So then we'll just do a little bit in the middle as well. Perfect. And now that glue is gonna volcano because it's about done. Oh no, okay. So let's go ahead and flip this the other way. And I'm just gonna take my paper, let's see here. Sorry about the crazy zooming. And I'm just going to line it up with the edges to where I have just a little bit peeking through of that beige neutral color. So just like that. Perfect. Okay, and I'm just going to gently press it down. If you do have any, this is the Fabrifix silicone glue. If you do have any, you know, kind of that comes off of the edges or bleeds, words, Shayla. But if you do have any, you know, extra that bleeds or anything, you can just wipe it off. So, and it should be fine. So, okay, so we glued that down. So now I'm just going to trim this to where it matches the other side. So getting that trimmer over here. There we go. Okay. And again, I am really just eyeballing it. So hopefully this turns out well. Okay. All right, not bad. I don't think that is too bad at all. So now I'm going to trim the other side to match this side as well. Okay. All right, perfect. So we have our little piece for the middle, which is right here. Super, super cute. So now we need to figure out what little sentiment we are going to put on the top here. So I just basically am using that same piece. So let me see. I have this little stash, I don't know if you can see it, of things that I have kind of collected. You can find sentiments too on, like there's always some like free printables and stuff like that on Etsy that if you have a printer, you can just print them out. You can use stamps. You can also use like words from a book page. You could write it yourself. I mean, there's all kinds of things you could really do. So don't be limited to, you know, if you see me using all these things, you're like, oh, I don't have any of those things. Well, you don't need it. I just have it, so I'm going to use it. And I kind of like that. Like, I like how it just brings out the, it just brings out the, like the white in the background. So I think I'm going to do that. But before I do that, I have an inkling, or I have an urge to want to ink this a little bit. So let's do that. And I think I'm just going to go in with some walnut stain. Nothing too crazy. And this is just Distress Ink Walnut Stain by Tim Holtz, Ranger Inks. it's kind of hard to find them, at least where I'm at, like in the store anymore. Like if you're going to like Hobby Lobby or Michael's or Joann's, where I tend to find, or I typically only find the Distress Oxides, which I think they're the same, but I was reading that the dry time on them is a little bit longer. Like you have to wait a minute. So we don't have time for that. So I'm using this one, which I actually got from a thrift store. So, okay, so I just inked it up a little bit, gave it some interest, and now it really pops. So I think I'm going to do that for this one as well. And let me actually cut it down first before I just start inking. So let's glue this guy. And I think he's going to pop over the edge, but that is totally fine. So we're just going to glue him down. I'm going to use, Fabrifix here. Okay. And let's see. We wanted him to be right here. So I'm just kind of measuring so I know where to put the glue. Okay. And this guy, I want to say, is a printable. It feels like printer paper. So at one point I went printable happy and I just started printing all of these printables and then I never used them. So if you're going to print printables, make sure you're going to use them. But it's always nice to have this in your stash too. I wish I knew if this is a printable, which I'm guessing it is. I wish I knew who made it so I could obviously give them credit. But thank you, whoever made this beautiful printable. And let's see here. So moving that out of the way, I'm just going to trim this so that way it matches the other side. Let's see. Okay. That looked about right. Okay, so it came out pretty well. Show you that. So let's go ahead and ink up that one too. This reminds me of like the neutral, Christmas style, which I actually really like. I think it looks really cute and it's very like clean, I would love to say that that's like me, but it's not. It's not. I won't lie to you guys. I wish it was me. Okay, so we did that. Oh, we got a little there. That's okay. We will work with it. It just makes it look vintage. So we have that, and then we have the bird. So I think all I'm going to do is I'm just going to, maybe we could do something like that. And I feel like maybe it needs something else, like a little just something. So let me see in my bag here what we have. I'm sure we have something. Let's pull out some things here. Look at the little bird. Okay, too many birds. Too many birds, Shayla. Oh, we do have this. Okay, so I have this little applique. It's a snowflake, so maybe we could do that somewhere. Like, maybe we could, something. We could do something with it. I kind of like it right there, if I can make it work. So maybe we could do, oh, I don't know. Trying to figure this out here. Are you guys this indecisive? I'm pretty indecisive. I've learned that about myself over the years. Okay, so we could do something like that. That's kind of cute. Or maybe we'll just leave that plain and we'll put it right here. It's kind of cute. Okay, so let's just, we're just going to go with that. We're just going to And I'm going to scoot this up just a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these things down. My glue's volcanoing. Okay. And all right. Perfect. So I just put a bunch of glue there, and I'm just going to glue this down where I think it might look good. Because I don't want too many gap. I don't want a huge gap in between. So there we go. Gently smush it down. Okay. Perfect. And then let's go ahead and glue this one down too. Okay. And I'm going to put this one down right here. Okay, so we have that, which looks super cute already. But let's go ahead and, where was that? Applique. So I'm trying to just figure out. We could do right there. I kind of like it right there. Because the red, it pops out with the red a little bit. Let's just do that. And Fabrifix, since it is a little silicone glue, it will stick like fabric and stuff on, so that's why I'm using that. It's just kind of like a heavy duty tacky glue, but it dries pretty quickly, so your downtime is not that bad. Okay, we're just gonna gently smush those on there, and then we'll just leave it be. Okay. So there we go. We already have our cover, which is super cute. So now we got to do the inside, and I am actually going to go grab some bigger scrapbook paper. So hang on just one second. Okay, and I'm back. So I chose this paper. I thought maybe it might look nice. You know, it has a little bit more of that kind of vintage vibe there. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to use this as my pocket for right here. And I'm going to cut this down. So again, I'm just kind of eyeball measuring, nothing super fancy here. So let's see. Okay. I'm just going to go, I guess, right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and cut that. All right. Now, I don't know about you guys. I was on my porch the other night, and I saw through somebody's window. I wasn't, you know, actively looking at them, but they had their windows open, and I could see their Christmas tree already up, which, I mean, that's just goals. I have no motivation to pull my tree out right now. I mean, not that I don't want to, but it's just, you know, it's a lot. It's not super, let's see here. It's just a lot. I don't know. It's not that I don't want to, but, you know, I'm obviously doing other things. So, I don't know if you guys heard my other video, but I am planning on moving at the end of this month. Long story short, we're moving because our neighbors, our upstairs neighbors, are driving us absolutely batty with how loud they're being. Sorry, neighbors, but that's what it is. And so we just, you know, we talked to our apartment, and they were fine with us transferring, which was such a huge blessing because my husband and I both work from home. So we kind of need some sort of like quiet environment. And, you know, we've tried to do our best job of, you know, talking to the neighbors and stuff like that. But there just comes a time where you say, you know what, that's it. So that's what we're doing. It's not ideal, but, you know, it's, I guess, for the greater good here. So anyways, so yeah, I don't know when I'm gonna get the Christmas tree up this year, but I will make it happen. I always do. Okay. So I have this piece that I just cut down to kind of fit this. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue it down here. And, okay. Let's see where that was pretty good. That was pretty good. Look at that. I did a pretty good job gluing that. Okay, it's not perfect. Don't toot your horn, Shayla. Not yet. All right, so I just did that. That's our background piece. And I'm going to finish gluing it here. Some glue down. Okay. All right. There we go. Okay, so that guy's nice and glued down. We have a nice little background piece. So that's what it looks like. Super cute. So I thought this might add a cute little contrast here. And I'm just going to cut it to the same size. So my pocket, I don't know if you can see that. Here is the example. So my pocket right here, I just kind of cut down. So it actually looks like it's peeking over a little bit, but this one I kind of did close to the edge. So we probably won't bring it all the way to the edge, which is fine. So let's see here. I don't want it to be that tall though. So I'll probably cut it to right here. And like I said, a lot of my stuff, I just eyeball it and hope for the best. It's probably not the right way to do it, but you know, I'm a creative being, so if that's what I so choose. All right, and then I'm just gonna cut this down. Okay, looking good. Okay, so now we have a little pocket, super cute, right? So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna glue down I'm gonna make a U shape with my glue and just glue the edges right here, but obviously leave the top part open. And I am gonna use Fabrifix for this one. Oh, it'll come out here. Okay, just a little bit of glue, you don't need a lot. You don't want it to smush too much. Because if it does, then your pocket won't be very big. All right, so we have that, and now I'm just going to line it up here, and then come down and press the edges. Okay. All right, so now that I've done that, glued that, I'm just gonna glue right on top my little sticky notes, which are super cute. They're little Santas. And then let's see. I have this big bead of glue. I'm gonna see if I can use it. Okay, just kind of smush it around there. I think that'll work. Well, I hope you guys are having a great Wednesday. I'm trying to get my butt into the holiday gear, at least in the crafting world, which I know I'm late on, so don't have to tell me twice, but okay. All right, so then I just glued the bottom here, or the bottom piece of this sticky note stack. And again, I think I got these sticky notes like a few years back at the Target dollar spot. If you have a Target, usually they have that little dollar spot, and man, they have some great stuff around the holidays. So this year I actually was in there not too long ago, and I saw they had this little hot cocoa, I guess like bar, you know, like how people make the hot cocoa bars and stuff. They had, I guess like little bins, so you could put things in there to make hot cocoa. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cute. I didn't get it, but might be going back. Okay, so now we have a cute little pocket, and let's show that this is a pocket by getting a tag here. Let me see, sorry about the crinkle of noise here. looking for it to add. Let's pull some of this out. I do have this like really random tag. That one's okay. Where are those ones that I used? Okay, I'm looking for them. They're somewhere hidden. Oh, here we go. Okay, so this one, I have a different one. So let's use this one. Super cute. Naughty or nice. That's so funny. So we'll just stick that in there. Perfect. And then, like I said, you could put an embellishment up here if you want to put like a word or something. So, you know, that if you, basically like if you want to add something a little bit extra up here, you totally can, but I'm just going to leave mine plain for now. And then we're going to work on the back part. So the back part, I did use, the same, I guess, paper as right here, but because I only have a small, I don't have enough for that one, I'm going to actually use this one. So we'll actually get some nice matchy-matchiness going on. And I think this should be good. So all I'm going to do is I want to add something to it before I glue it down. So let's see what I can add. All right. Ooh. So I could do, okay, this is kind of cute. Don't open until the 25th. So we could do something like that. Let's see what else I have. And then we'll make a decision. Okay. Oh, look at this cute little scrap fabric. Isn't that adorable? Little like Scotty dogs. I think that's what they're called. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Sometimes I feel like it would be nice to have a small dog. I have a Great Pyrenees. And he's big. They're bigger dogs. He is 6 years old. His name is Jack. But he is just nothing but a big old love ball. I love him to death. Okay, so I think I'm going to go with this. I think I like this little embellishment here. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. I'm just going to use my glue stick for this one. And then we're just kind of getting our base down. And then at the end, you know, if we decide we want to add a little bit more, we'll do that. I just don't want it to be too thick either because, like I said, this thing's going to travel around. So I'm like, maybe I should put it right here. There we go. Perfect. And I believe I just got these little sayings from like a 12 by 12 scrapbook pad that was like holiday, you know, like Christmas themed. So I just kind of cut them apart. It was probably like a page where you can kind of cut them. So you can always find stuff. Just be on the lookout. All right, so we have that, which looks really cute. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it in the U shape again, so that way I have a tuck spot. So let's use our Fabrifix. Okay. Or do we like it like that? I guess that kind of looks better, huh? Or is it like better that way? I think it's better that way. So let's go ahead and glue it. Okay. Gluing, gluing, gluing. I hope you guys are making one of these with me. These are actually pretty fun to make. I enjoy it. I know the process looks insane, but it's actually not that bad. They're pretty fun. Okay, so we're going to glue this guy down. I'm going to try and get it kind of close to the edge here since I have to put receipts in it. Okay. And you could always make your pocket go all the way to the edge if you prefer. I like to have that little, you know, decorative, I guess. It's not really decorative, but I like to have the back showing a little bit. So there we go. So now we have that. And now we get to work on the middle piece. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go grab some lined paper so we can get started on the middle piece, which is the little notebook. And then I'll be right back. Okay, and I'm back. So I grabbed some lined paper. This is just regular lined paper. And I think I grabbed like 8 sheets. I'd say 8 to 10 sheets is pretty good because when you fold it in half, you get double. So I'm going to go ahead and start by cutting off these little circles right here. And before I do that, since this one is a little bit smaller, I just want to see how big I can cut these. Okay, so if I do, I mean, that should still work. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut off. I'm going to use this little red line here as my guide. And I'm going to do like about half at a time, I think, just to give my paper trimmer a little break here. Okay. All right. Make sure those are straight. If you have to paper clip them too to keep them straight, then that by all means, go ahead. Okay. So there's one. I'll set those somewhere. And then let's go ahead and do the others. All right. And what's nice about this paper trimmer, I will say, there is a little like thin wire. You can't see it, but it kind of guides you as to where you're actually cutting. I know, isn't that crazy? I still cut things wrong, and there's a guide. But it's actually pretty useful. So, okay, so now we have this, but it's way too long. So let me see kind of how big I want to cut it. And for this, I will need my ruler, which is buried. Here we go. All right. So let's use our inches here. We're about 9 inches. So I think I'm going to want to cut it. Let's see. We'll cut it at about 8.5. That should be good. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to take just half of the stack. And I'm going to actually cut off this top part. You can choose which side you want to cut off. But I think for me, I'll be able to write more. So that's why I'm going to cut it off. Okay, and so we're cutting at 8.25. So I have this lovely, if you don't have this, you could always just use your ruler and make little marks too. Make sure your papers are straight. There we go. And now we cut. Okay. And then we're just going to do the same thing for the other half of our papers. So thread it through there, and then I kind of just hold them like so that way they don't scoot around too much. All right, cut that off. Perfect. So now we have our little stack of papers here. Okay. So we have our stack of papers here. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to take them and I'm going to fold them in half as best as I can. If you have to, if you have like a big stack, you might want to fold them, you know, one by one or by little stacks if it's a lot to fold. And this is just kind of, you know, a personal thing for you. So I personally am like, things don't have to be absolutely perfect. In an ideal world, I'd love for it to be perfect, but I know that's not how life is. So, okay, so I fold them in half. I'm just going to use my handy dandy bone folder, which just helps make really nice creases. So I'm just going to kind of fold this down so they're nice and flat. And then we have a little booklet here. Perfect. So we're going to set this aside, and we're going to take our outer cover paper, which I chose this paper. It just says Merry Christmas in a bunch of different fonts. Really cute. And all I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to fold it in half here. Okay. So we'll start by folding in half. This is a 12 by 12 scrapbook paper. You could probably use a 9 by 11 for something this small if you're making one about the same size. So I folded it in half. And then now I'm going to measure this so I know what I need to be at. Okay, so if you can see that there, no, you can't. No, you can't see that. So if you can see that there, we're at about 3, I'd say 3 and whatever that line is, a little over half. 3 and half of half. 3 and halfway to 3/4. I really need to learn how to measure. I'm sure people are pulling their hair out right now. But hey, it works for me. I know where I'm at. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to make a mark at that line. And actually, because it's the 3 and 3.5 to 3/4, I'm actually going to move it up a little bit to where it's just 3 and 3/4 or 3.75. That way I have a little bit of lip hanging off and it completely covers the paper so you can't see it. In case you have anyone peeking at your shopping lists. Are you a holiday peeker? Do you peek at presents? Did you peek at presents when you were young? My husband always jokes with me. He's like, I'm going to go look at them. And I'm like, you better not. He knows I'm all into the surprise, the element of surprise. Okay, and then I did notice here, so there's like this font on the inside, which is fine. But at the bottom here, there is that. So I'm going to use the top part. I guess they put that on the back, that's kind of unfortunate. I mean, I know you're trying to like put your brand out there, but you know, if someone's using it for, I don't know, say this reason, it'd be kind of nice if that wasn't there, but that's okay. Whatever, we can work with it. You can always cover it up. And all I'm doing is I'm just kind of eyeballing because I want a little bit of overhang on, I want a little bit of overhang on the cover part. So I just want to make sure when I cut it that I cut, let's see. So I'll just fold it the other way so I can see the mark I made. But I just want to make sure I have overhangs. That way it covers up my line paper completely. Okay, so I did that. All right, so now we have our cover. Super cute. And I think we can go ahead and put this away for now. We do not need it. I'm going to set it down here. And now we get to make our signatures, or, you know, insert it. So I just put this in here so it's nice and straight. Make sure your papers are all together. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some paper clips. I have some giant paper clips. You can use smaller ones if that's what you have. But I have these, so let's use them. Okay. And I'm just going to put them on both sides. Make sure it still folds correctly. So just like that. So it's basically just holding the papers in place so they don't move around. They're still in the crease. And then let's take our folio here that we made. And I'm going to use my ruler and I'm going to turn this. I'll kind of zoom you guys in a little bit so you can see. So I'm going to go ahead and make some marks, but I want them all to be right in the middle where that crease is, because we're going to poke some holes to put our journal in, or our little shopping list booklet. I'll call it a booklet. There you go. So I'm honestly just going to kind of see where I want these guys to start and end. So I think at the 1.5, we'll put one there. And I'm just using my pencil, put a little dot. And then I'm going to kind of go where I think the middle is, which is going to be 4.5. So I'm going to put one there. Okay. And then I'm going to go down here, but I'm going to go a little bit closer to the edge. And the reason that is so that way I know which side is the bottom. So there you go. I put that one at 8. So now we have marks at the 1.5, the 4.5, and the 8 mark. So we're going to take this, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this and make sure, see how that's upside down? Make sure it's right side up. Looks good. Okay. So I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to line it up with the holes. But honestly, I'm going to line it up on how I want this to fit in here. So I have a little bit, you can see that. I have a little bit of overhang right here and right here, so that way the journal will fit in there nicely. And then seeing where the little holes are at, or the marks, if you can see like the mark right there, all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to make a mark right here, right where that other mark is. And then not moving, I'm going to go down a little bit. So I'm going to go to the middle one right here, same thing. Make a little mark on my paper, and then not moving, I'm going to go down to this bottom one, which I'll zoom out for. Oh, okay, we moved. So we have to make sure our holes are matching. There we go. And then I'm just going to make a mark for the last one. And that's just a guide for where I'm going to punch the holes. Now from here, you have a few options. You can use an owl, which is this lovely guy. It's handy dandy. You can find these on, I bought mine on Amazon for like $4, super inexpensive. I think Joann sells these, Joann Fabrics. Michaels might sell them as well as Hobby Lobby. I would just check. But either way, these are usually not expensive. They're incredibly sharp, so don't let your kids play with this. It's similar to like an ice pick or something like that, but it's basically a bookbinding tool. So that way you can poke holes into your paper as well as your cover to bind the book to the cover. So I am actually going to use something that I recently inherited. I got myself a Crocodile Big Bite, which is absolutely amazing. I've been wanting one of these for so long. And I had someone who was very nice enough to give me one, which I'm very thankful for. So thank you, Jamie. I don't think she knows that I do, you know, this type of stuff, but, but she was getting rid of a lot of her craft stuff and she just gave this to me for free. So I am very, very blessed and grateful to have this. I'm really excited to use it. So we're going to use it today. So let's see here. So basically for the Crocodile Big Bite, there's 3 settings. So the top one will punch down right here. The middle one will punch a 1/8 hole in the middle. And then obviously the big one, which is back here. Oh, that's 2. The big one, oh, no. There we go. The big one is right there. So I actually am going to use the 1/8 because it's the smaller one. And hopefully you guys can see this. So all I did is I kind of bent my paper the other way, and I'm just going to punch a hole right here through the middle part. So I want to make sure I get in the middle. So let's see. Okay. And like I said, the paper clips really help. So that way, there we go. Everything stays in place and you punch through all of your papers. I'm just going to go through here. Okay, that's not right. Sorry, concentration. So silent. You only get one shot, you know, so that one was a little off. That's okay though. No worries. Okay. There we go. Perfect. So we punched through those. And there's our little holes there. And so now I'm going to punch through here as well. So this one's a little bit easier to do, I would say. Okay, there's one. There's two. Let's flip it around. And this just saves you a little bit of time versus doing like the owl. If you are using an owl or an ice pick, make sure you have something underneath so that way you don't stab your desk. Okay, so we have the holes made. Look at those, very nice. So now we get to bind our book. So I'm gonna keep it right here. And I have some, so I have this, I think it's called a downing needle. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. But it basically has a bigger eyelet, and then the point is blunt. So it's not really all that sharp, but it's perfect for what we're using it for. And then I'm just going to take some string. So ideally, the rule of thumb is you always want to count to 3. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there you go. Let's go ahead and cut this wherever my scissors are hiding. They're buried. What's new? Okay, so cut those. Just some red embroidery floss. You could use twine. You could use like hemp cord. I know some people have even used like floss. So really just whatever you have. That's kind of strong. And this one is unraveling a little bit. So I'm just going to give it the old handy dandy lick. Do you remember when we all used to do that? We used to lick our finger before getting a grocery bag. And now it's, you know, if you do it, it's like, oh my gosh, you're going to get sick, you know? So, oh man. Okay, so I'm pulling this through. So all I did is I went through the middle hole, and I didn't tie my string or anything. I'm just holding it right here. You want to make sure you don't let that guy loose. And I'm going to pull it all the way until I have just kind of a little tail, but you don't want to pull it all the way through. I'm going to actually just tuck it in there. Who knows if it will stay. And then I'm going to go through the outside, and I'm going to go through the top right here. Okay. And then I'm going to go through the right through here. You can see that. So I went through the outside, through the top, back into the inside. And then I'm pulling my string to make sure it's all the way in there. And I'm going to go down to where this hole is. And I'm going to thread my string through here. Okay. And then it gets a little tricky. You want to make sure this guy does not go flying away. So then you pull down here. And I still have it. I'm just going to flip this open. And I'm going to go through to the outside. Okay. Just like that. Make sure we still have everything. Okay, I'm going to pull it, but while I'm pulling it, I'm holding this, so that way I know things are getting kind of pulled together. I'm trying to just get that string nice and taut, because you don't want to have it where it's loose, because then it'll go like this. It'll just wiggle around when you're done. So then I'm going to take this, and I'm going to go through here, and then same thing, I'm going to go back through the middle. Okay, and when I go through the middle, you want this string to be on this side. And I'm going to pull through. Okay, and pull through. So now we're through, and we're on both sides. That's really important. You don't want to have them on two of the same side, because essentially we're going to tie a knot right here, and that's going to anchor this middle string down. So it keeps it nice and straight. So I'm going to go ahead and take off my little needle here. And I'm going to make sure on the other side that it looks like it's nice and tight. Definitely don't pull it too tight though. You don't want to rip your paper. I have done that, especially with brittle paper. This stuff's a little more durable, what we're working with today, but it definitely can rip your paper. So with that being nice and taut, I'm going to go ahead and just do a little simple knot. And I'm going to do it 3 times because this hole is a little bit big. And it should stay. Oh, where is it? Okay, there we go. Okay. And let's do one more. And so from here, you can cut these strings off. You could let them dangle if you want, if you so choose. You can trim them. You could add little charms to these as well. I'm just going to trim mine a little bit. I kind of like a little bit of string in the middle, but besides that, I'm just going to trim it. Because like I said, I want this to be as flat as possible. So now let's go ahead and take off our, oh, that one make a little mark. That's okay. Take off our paper clips. And now we have a cute little folio. Okay, and so one more thing. I found this Santa that I thought I really wanted to put on here. So let's go ahead and do that. He just looks very jolly. I don't know. He's just giving me good jolly vibes. So let's do it. I'm just going to use my glue stick. He looks like a vintage die cut, in my opinion. I don't know if that's what he is or where he came from, but I have so much stuff, you guys. I don't know half the time where it came from. Some things I do. I mean, my memory's not that bad, but you know, after a while, you just forget. So I don't know, but he's super cute. So we're going to add him in. And I'm just going to put him right in the middle here. There we go. And then that is how you make a folio, a little Christmas folio. You can do these for other holidays as well, but that's the finished product there. Super cute. Zoom me in a little bit. Okay, so we made that today, and this is part one, like I said, of the the Christmas planner journal making process. I like to make this beforehand. Since this will have kind of my shopping list, my, to-do list, my random thoughts, that kind of thing. So that's our finished product for today. You could definitely always add some more embellishments. I kind of just did bare bones for the sake of time. And of course you could always, oh, look at that. I got some ink. That's okay. You could always add something on the back, which I probably will because of that. But that is for today's video. So I really want to thank you guys for joining me today. I hope you guys made something fun. If it wasn't this, maybe you were just playing in the papers, and that makes me happy. Of course, if you like this video, please like it so that way I know that you like it. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you know when I release a new video. With that, I will leave you guys to it, and I hope you have a great day. Bye, guys.